My name is Kathryn Getek Soltis. I'm director of the Center for Peace and Justice Education here at Villanova University. I'm also assistant professor of Christian ethics with the Theology and Religious Studies department. One of the most common arguments in favor of the death penalty, actually there was a recent survey by Gallup that was asking people what they would reference and support. And really it's an eye for an eye. Right? It's this notion that if you take a human life, that the only way you can do fitting punishment for that is to have your life taken from you. Now, there are also arguments that people have made over time about deterrence, right? That certainly this is the strongest possible deterrent you could have to prevent people from committing heinous crimes, is to take their life. Certainly they won't be committing any crimes after that, but it also sends a clear message. The Kantian deontological perspective is, I think, very much at the heart of some of this, which is this notion that there is a cosmic balance, if you will, right? That for justice to be achieved, the only way to do it is to have the punishment be fitting. So, that's the heart of punishment for him. And so you're a free, agent. You choose, you will. And so what if you will an atrocity on another person, then, this is not Kant's language, but in a sense, there's a cosmic justice that atrocity comes back and falls on your head. And for Kant, for us to do anything less than see that to its fruition is a miscarriage of justice. And I think a counter-argument to that is to really question whether or not justice can be accomplished by intentionally creating more suffering. A lot of the arguments against the death penalty come down to the fact that the arguments for the deterrence are inconclusive, especially when people spend years and years on death row. The effect of that message is really diluted over the time. And people will say, who are against the death penalty, that human dignity requires that we not take life as a way of communicating the wrongness of taking life. Right? There's a presumption that life is good. Right? That there's a presumption that we should protect life, even when, with life being flawed. As bad as the acts that one might commit, that there's still a dignity about human life that can't be taken away, right? Inalienable rights, right? We talk about the inalienable right to life, right? That this is a right that we can't forfeit. Natural law talks, the very basic thing that we share with animals, right, and even inanimate objects is this inclination to survive, right, to continue to exist. That is the most basic inclination that all things have, right? So Aquinas talks about the rock. The rock has an inclination to continue to exist, right? It doesn't just dissolve in midair, right? it is so fundamental, not just to humans, but to be a creature, that to assume that we have the right to judge when we can contravene that most fundamental, inclination of being a creature. That's territory that we may need to rethink, that we have the ability and the rights to go to that place. It really is about honoring an inviolable notion of dignity. We can, if we need to confine someone, if we need to put parameters on their social existence, because of actions, we may need to do that. There may be rights that need to be constrained for a time, or in some circumstances for a very, very long time of the rest of someone's life, possibly. But to suggest that they're no longer, they no longer hold their right to life is really to suggest they're no longer human. And that's a problem for us to really make that judgment. It dehumanizes the person who is to be executed, who is still someone's son or daughter, and still someone's brother or sister, perhaps. There is more to that person than their action. And it dehumanizes us. I mean, if we can't see that, and if we are willing to allow ourselves to live with this simplification of reducing a person to their worst action, then we've lost a bit of our own appreciation of what it means to be complicated, flawed human beings.